Hello, students. I know you might be thinking that ma'am has already explained the lesson, then what's remaining? But I thought that at least you should be familiar with the board paper style, and along with it, we will also discuss the questions which are given in the our textbook First Flight. So, here we go. Okay, here we will only see which kind of questions would be there in the board exam paper, only of the prose and story, right? So basically in section A, it is of total 16 marks, and all the questions are from the prose or the story part only. So first questions would be there that the read the following passage and select the appropriate answer from the options given below. So MCQ would be there, and 4 marks are there, 1 marks each. Second question, fill in the blanks choosing the correct words. FIB would be there and choosing the correct word. That means the brackets are given from the brackets. So write answers only. You have to write answers only, and only 4 marks. 4 marks would be there. So one FIB and 1 marks. So each blanks carry 1 marks. And the third, answer the questions in 5 to 6 sentences. It is very important, students, 5 to 6 sentences, and each questions will carry 2 marks. That doesn't mean that you have to write only 4 to 5 lines. 5 to 6 sentences, that means if you want good marks in examination, board examinations, you have to at least write half a page of the supplementary of your board exam, right? So more than half would be suffice, but more than half, if you are writing in a good handwriting and explaining everything, then definitely you will get a full mark. So prepare for it. Next, section B, I haven't taken it. Section B is of poetry and supplementary, 10 marks of poetry, and remaining 6 marks are from supplementary. In section C, basically it's a grammar section, but still it carries the prose and story sections even, because the model question paper which are given by the Gujarat State Education Board, and even the last paper, we have examined that these questions are from the text only, from the stories only. First question is that rectify the errors in the given passage. So you have to rectify the errors. So you have to first mention the error, and second the corrections. If you have mentioned these both, okay, if you have mentioned, each lines carries error and corrections. So if you have written error and corrections, if both are right, then you will get half marks. Okay, if both are right, then you will get half marks. So total you will get more than 6 or more than 6 lines would be there, and 6 multiplied by 2, that means you have, and 12, if you have written 12 blanks correctly, then you will get these 3 marks. So prepare accordingly. Next question is that FIB, fill in the blanks using the articles, conjunctions and prepositions at the correct place. Write the answer properly. So you have to prepare these three things: article, conjunctions, preposition. Only these three things would be asked in the examinations. And it, as I told you, that it might happen that the paper would be from the text or story only. So my suggestion for you is that you read the maximum number of the lesson Read the lesson at the maximum attempt. As much as you read the lesson, you will get the answers, you will get these, you will able to rectify the errors, you will able to FIB, this articles, conjunctions and preposition part, and these all the things will help you a lot in your questions answer, even in the section A, even in the section C even. So read the text as much as possible. Next question is that punctuate the following passage. It is again 2 marks would be there. Next, convert the following into indirect speech. Now you might find that it is the grammar topic totally. Section C is totally grammar topic, and why ma'am is talking about that, this might be of text or story based only, because from the story or from the lesson questions would be there, and the passage or the dialogue would be there, and questions would be there that convert the following into indirect speech. So read the story as much as possible. Last one is that do as directed, that means the transformation of sentences, that is of 5 marks. I hope you guys are clear what I'm saying. Okay, so let's read these questions. Here we have few questions, and these are from the text itself, and we are going to answer it. First question is that where did this ceremony take place? Okay, the ceremony took place in the amphitheater, which was formed by the Union buildings, and the city was Pretoria, right? Next, can you say how 10 May is autumn day in South Africa? Mandela itself says that it was a fine autumn morning, and that's the reason the question is that can you say how 10 May is an autumn day? If you see the geographical, if you look at the geographical facts, then since South Africa lies in the southern hemisphere, and that is the reason that we can say that May falls in the autumn season, and here we have a summer season, completely different weather environment. Anyways, next, at the beginning of his speech, Mandela mentions an extraordinary human disaster. We talked in a very detail. What does he mean by this? What is the glorious human achievement? We also talked about it. He speaks of at the end. Okay, so by an extraordinary human disaster, Mandela is referring to the apartheid system that was prevented in South Africa under the previous leaderships, that is white supremacy, right? And people of color were treated unfairly, and no human being deserves that, right? And Mandela stood against the unjust practices of this apartheid and finally won the um, democratic elections to become the first black president of South Africa. And the second question, glorious human achievements. Okay, so he stood against the uh, injustice practices, and finally he won these democratic elections. And he also refers to win as a glorious human achievements, because he achieved this democrat um, he was fairly elected. Out of 400 he got 252 seats. He achieved this with his own determinations. So that is the reason it was human glorious human achievements. No one, even the black, he was black skin, so that is the reason it is glorious human achievement. Okay, next, what does Mandela thank the international leaders for? Okay, so remember the international leaders came to embrace the achievement of Nelson Mandela and the South African people. Okay, so answer could be the author thanked the international leaders for joining and supporting them in their victory of freedom, justice and human dignity. And earlier many nations had cut ties with South Africa, because of their practices of apartheid, and due to that reason they were outlawed, right? And so Mandela is thanking all the international leaders. Okay, next. What ideals does he set out for the for the future of South Africa? Okay, as the newly elected president of South Africa, Nelson Mandela wanted to liberate the country of all the unjust practices. He set out ideals for a country which was free of poverty, discrimination, and injustice. So, these three ideas he talks about in his speech. Next, what do the military generals do? How has their attitude changed and why? Okay, so in the after this oath ceremony, what happened that the military generals saluted Nelson Mandela and promised their support to the country and newly formed this democratic government of South Africa. And their attitude was changed because earlier they were under the rule of the white supremacy, and during that rule they would have arrested Mandela as he was considered to be the criminal. And now with the abolition of apartheid and the formation of a democratic government and achieving the post of president of South Africa, their attitude has changed. Okay, next, why were two national anthems sung? Okay, the two national anthems, one of the blacks and other of the whites, were sung, symbolizing the equality and respect for the entire community, irrespective of their colors. So that is the reason two national anthems were sung. Okay. Next, how does Mandela describe the system of government in his country? First, that is in the first decade and in the final decade of the 20th century. He distinguished the whole century in two parts, first decade and the final decade. Okay. So in the first decade of the 20th century, white supremacy created a system of racial domination and made life a living hell for the dark-skinned people. And Mandela referred it as one of the harshest inhuman societies of the world. And in the second or the final decade of the 20th century, the system of apartheid has been changed into one that recognizes all human as equal human beings, regardless of their color, race, or gender. So that's it. Okay, next. What does courage means to Mandela? Okay. To Mandela, courage does not mean the absence of fear, but the victory over it or the triumph over it. A man who is courageous is the one who has overcome his fear to fight all the odds. So that was courage means to Mandela. Okay, next question. Which does he think is natural, to love or to hate? Okay, I think we discussed it in a detail. He believes that loves come more naturally to humans as opposed to hate, because no one is born with hatred in his heart for another. So love is more natural according to him. Okay, next. What twine obligation does Mandela mention? Okay, according to Mandela, every person has twine obligations. One is towards his family, towards his people, towards his children and wife, and the other is towards his society, towards his people, towards his country. Right. Next. What did being free mean to Mandela as a boy, as a student? How does he contrast this transitory freedom with the basic and honorable freedoms. Okay. Uh, as a young boy and as a student, Mandela's ideas of freedom was to be able to stay out at night, to read whatever he desired, and to go wherever he chose. He wants to roam around the hut of his mother, wants to swim in this stream, right? And when he grows up as a man, he realized that these were transitory freedoms. He was looking for it because their basic and honorable freedoms had been taken away. There was no liberty to have a peaceful marriage, family, and life. Dark skinned people were deprived of their fundamental human rights, for their basic human rights. For them, freedom was just an illusion. Okay, next, does Mandela think the oppressor is free? Why or why not? Of course, according to Mandela, the oppressor is as much a prisoner as the oppressed, because as soon as the former, that means the oppressor, robs the oppressed people of their freedom, the oppressor himself gets robbed by his humanity, because he filled with the hatred. Thus, he thinks that the oppressor is also not free. Why did such a large number of international leaders attend the inaugurations? Why did it signify the triumph of? Okay. These are the questions from thinking about the text. Okay, so the questions are a bit different from the comprehension stack. Okay, at the inauguration ceremony, there were a large number of international leaders to celebrate the end of apartheid system and to display their support for South Africa. It signifies the triumph of justice over prejudice, courage over fear, and right over wrong. So that's what it signifies. Okay, next. What does Mandela mean when he says he is simply the sum of all those African patriots who had gone before him? Mandela wanted to thank the generations before him who had fought for justice. He gathered his courage from those brave heroes. He inspired from those brave heroes, and it is because of that he fought fearlessly for what is right. And thus he refers to himself as simply the sum of all those African patriots and that had gone before him. Okay, next. Would you agree that the depth of operation created heights of character? How does Mandela illustrate this? Can you add your own example to this argument? Okay, of course we have to agree, and even I agree that depth of operation create a heights of character. uh, as you can see that during even in our history, in our Indian history, uh, this ruling of the rule of British gave birth to so many heroes, so many unsung heroes like Bhagat Singh, not only just Gandhi ji or Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel or Nehru, but many other warriors, Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev, Rajguru, and many more. The names are uncountable, and it is really true that death of operation creates a height of character. And here Mandela illustrates this idea by the example of all those who had emerged as a great freedom fighters after years of operations and brutality. And one of the greatest example of his of our own country, as I told you that where our people were exploited under the British rule, and they ruled over us about 200 years. And as a result of this operation, India got freedom fighters, right? So many freedom fighters. Next. Uh, How did Mandela's understanding of freedom change with age and experience? As a young boy and as a student, Mandela's ideas of freedom was to be able to stay out at night, read whatever he desired. I think the same question was there in the comprehension check. And he wants to even read whatever he desires and go wherever he wants to go. And when he grows up as a man, he realized that these were the transitory freedom, and he was looking for it because of their basic and honorable freedoms had been taken away, and there was no liberty to have a peaceful marriage, family life, and dark-skinned people were deprived of their fundamental human rights. They were not getting their basic human rights, and for them, for dark-skinned people, freedom was just an illusion. They were not free. Next, how did Mandela's hunger for freedom change his life? Okay, once Mandela realized that his hunger for freedom uh, changed his life forever, it transformed him from a family man to a man of his people, and a frightened young man into a very bold man. He built his entire life around fighting for the basic fundamental rights for his community. He was more selfless and virtuous than ever. So, these are the questions and answers. Thank you so much.